Hey guys, what's up? It's Jenny. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some fairly new palettes and I'm going to be creating makeup looks with them. This is actually part one of the video because it is going to be so long. In part one, I'm going to be talking about the ABH Subculture palette as well as the ColourPop Yes Please palette. These are both relatively new palettes and I created two looks with them that I thought were pretty fun, and they're not your average everyday look. But I wanted to be a little bit more creative with these palettes. So if you want to see that, then go ahead and keep on watching. I'm sorry that I have not been uploading. I am trying to get back in the groove. I just started public school again and I'm a senior. So it's just been kind of an adjustment, but I have a new schedule in place that I think is going to work out well so I can get videos out for you guys. But yeah, if you want to see that, then go ahead and keep on watching. But make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and subscribe so you never miss out on any future videos. We are so close to 15,000. It's insane. I love you guys. Thank you so much and keep on watching.
So this first look is using the Subculture palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is just what the palette looks like, and I have swatches in the next clip. For this, I actually swatched the shimmers wet and dry. You can see Cube is nothing special, but the other shimmer is pretty nice, and the mattes are super pigmented. Same with Electric, it's nothing special at all, but the mattes are stunning looking. And now to start off this look, I'm going to be taking Dawn, and I actually really like this shade for a transition shade, and I'm taking a super light hand and blending this into my crease and gradually building up the intensity using a very fluffy blending brush. That is honestly the only way you can make this palette work, and I think this shade diffuses very nicely. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Roxy, which I also like this shade as well. And I'm taking a smaller, more pointed crease brush, and I'm focusing this on the lower portion of my crease and outer half of my lid. And again, just gradually building up that shade and trying to blend it into the other shade using a fluffy blending brush to make the blend seamless. Now I'm taking Destiny, which is a kind of gray toned green, and I honestly don't like this shade at all. It does not look pretty on the eyes. It turns muddy very quickly, and I applied that in the outer half of my lid and tried to blend it into the other shades. And now I'm going in with Axis, and again, I don't really like this shade either. I think the color itself is stunning, but this is super hard to work with. It turns very patchy and it's hard to blend into the edges, which is why I went in and took more of Roxy to help kind of blend out the edges. And you can see it just creates a gray area and gets really patchy and did not help anything at all. I just kept trying and building using a Mary Kay crease brush. And then I went in with more of Axis on a smaller little Morphe brush to kind of pack the color in and make it more pigmented. This color just doesn't want to stay on your lids. I don't know what happened. And then I kept trying to blend out the edges and it just wasn't working. You can see I went in with more of Dawn and tried to blend it out and it was just not working. And now I'm going to go in with Electric. I tried to apply this with a dry brush at first and you can see it's just kind of barely there, little specks of glitter. So I ended up going in and spraying Fix Plus, and I had to use a lot of Fix Plus to make this shade work. And I'm doing a half cut crease. It actually looks pretty nice if you build it up a lot, but then it starts to get a little chunky. And I'm just kind of going back and forth trying to blend this on top of Axis, and the color it creates in between is actually a really cool color. I would like to kind of do a different look using that shade. And now I'm going back in with more of Axis to try and blend the line using that same small brush. You have to make sure that your lid is dry or you will get patches that just stick to the glittery part of the lid. And I was just trying really hard to blend. And then I went ahead and applied face makeup, and now I'm going in with Roxy and I'm smudging that along my lower lash line. You can see the look actually turned out a lot better than what it showed, but I worked on it off camera. And I went in with more of Axis and I applied that on the outer corner of my lower lash line and connected it to that little corner that's on my top lid. And then I threw on some lashes and eyeliner, and that is it for the look using the Subculture palette. I actually really like how it turned out. It's very pretty.
So fun fact, I already talked about the Subculture palette, but my microphone is dead again. So yeah, I suck. So honestly, I like this palette. I didn't have crazy issues blending except for when I got to these darker green shades. These shades are crazy pigmented, as you can see. Let me find an open spot to swatch. Like, look at that. That's one swipe. They're crazy, crazy pigmented, as everyone has said, but they're so freaking hard to blend. And I like them, but they're all just hard colors, honestly. I definitely think there's a lot of kick up in the pan, but if you tap, it's not that bad. See, look, I just tap on there. It's not crazy. But when you swirl is when you get powder dipping everywhere, which is what everyone kind of knows. I don't want to repeat things that other people have said, but honestly, I like this palette. I think it's very innovative. I do wish it had stuck to the original ABH Modern Renaissance formula. I think it truly would have been a hit for everyone, but this is going to stay on the top of my vanity. I love it. It's so unique, and I've actually used this a couple times to create some looks. So yeah, I'm excited to play around with it a little bit more, and I hope you guys enjoy the look that I created in the previous clip. And yeah, I like this. I do think that these shimmer shades low-key suck. I mean, Adorn is not bad. It's actually probably the most pigmented shimmer shade. It's right there. But Electric and Cube, you have to build and use Fix Plus, and even then Cube doesn't get that pigmented, but Electric can be pretty good, as you saw in my look. So yeah, that's my opinion on this palette. You definitely have to use a light hand, but I thought that Dawn and Roxy were fairly easy to blend, and I've also used New Wave and Edge, and they were pretty easy to blend for me as well. Definitely, as other people have said, you need to keep in mind the color wheel, and don't put two colors together that are going to make gray when you blend them. That could be part of the problem because there are such unique shades in here. You don't have this problem when you have like browns and purples, and I think that's just kind of what's been creating all this buzz about the palette. Buy it if you want to and you love the brand and you think these are cool colors, but if you don't, then don't buy it. It's that simple. It honestly hurts me to see this palette being bashed because I know that Norvina and Anastasia like probably worked so hard on this palette and it's just being trashed by everyone when I don't think it's bad. But that's just my opinion. I may have gotten a better batch than other people because I've seen other people's be totally crazy. And I did also notice with Axis, when I was going in on my outer corner, it did start to get patchy and I had to build it up. But I used a very, very small brush to build it up and it actually worked pretty well.
This next look is using the ColourPop Yes Please palette. It is a lot smaller than it looks in person, and this is just the shades. You can see it got pretty messy after just one use. And then I have swatches. I did not swatch the shimmers wet because they were pretty nice on their own. As you can see, the palette swatches super pretty, and I honestly think the yellow shade looks so cool swatched in neon. But I'm going to first go in and take the shade Bling, and I'm going to use this as my kind of all over setting lid shade. I just dusted that on, and now I am going to be taking Big Cocktails and I'm blending this into my crease. I started by kind of lifting my lid to really get it in my crease because I wanted this to be a very precise look, and then I went in with more of that shade to kind of darken it up and blending more and more right on top of that, and you can see it kind of turned orangey a little bit. And now I'm taking the shade Champs, which is an orange, as you can tell, and I am starting to kind of create a halo eye, or as best as I can, but you can see this shade didn't turn out very pigmented, so I went in with a smaller, more dense brush and I tried to kind of put it on the inner and outer third and then blend out all of the area. And now I'm going in with the shade Spoiled, and I'm applying that to the center of my lid for the halo eye. I went in with my brush dry, and I ended up going in and wetting it later. I think it actually might already be wet in this clip, but then I tried to pat it on the outer edge to kind of blend it, and then went back in with Champs again to blend the edges together. By this time my look was already starting to get a little muddled. I don't really know what happened. Honestly, these shades just kind of look like a mess, and you can see all of the fallout that was created on my face from this palette, and this look took me a very, very long time. And now I'm going back in with Big Cocktails again, and I'm going to dust that on my lower lash line real quick. And I also applied lashes but no eyeliner. And then I'm going in with Champs again. And I am kind of smoking this along my lower lash line real quick, and that is it for the look.
Moving on to the ColourPop Yes Please palette. That's what I did my eye look with for this video. Honestly, I'm not impressed. I know this palette was only $16, but the quality is just not there for me. And the thing that bugs me is these shades, like, they look nice. Like, look at that. Sorry, my fingers are so dirty. Let me find a place where I can swatch. Like, it doesn't swatch terribly, and you think that they're gonna be good. Like, look at that. Like, that looks nice, right? But honestly, they just flake off of your eyes, and it took so much work to get this look. And like, it looks like I probably only used like 2 colors, but in reality I used like 4 or 5, and they were just not coming together. Especially like this red, like, it looks pretty, but the red like did not show up at all. I even had to start over because I was so done. And the shimmers are okay, but they're so weird. Like, when I was in here, like, look at how much falls off. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it honestly has almost as much kick up as the Subculture palette. My palette was truly a mess when I was using it. Look at this, like, powder everywhere. Like, obviously I'm trying to make it messy, but after I was just using it for a look, like, it was just a mess. Look at this. Like, no, that's not what I paid money for. And all this powder that comes off. Disappointed, expected so much more. And this is actually the first time I've truly used ColourPop shadows. But this is going to go in my drawer. It's not going to sit on the top of my vanity anymore. The shimmers are okay, but when you apply them to your eye, they look like straight glitter. So you have to use some Fix Plus or something to make them stay on there. That was my experience. Maybe I just got a bad palette, because I know this has been highly sought after, and I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about this palette. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. I would not repurchase this even though it was so cheap. It just reminds me of the Carly Bible palette, TBH. If you guys saw my review on that, where the mattes kind of blended away to nothing and I had to work super, super hard. I didn't have to work as hard with this palette as I did for the Carly Bible one, but it's still nothing special. My Morphe 35B is so much better if I wanted colors like this. Even the 35O, I could get these exact colors. So that's just my thoughts, and that's it for part 1 of this video. Stay tuned for part 2. It'll be up later. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Comment down below which palette you like better, or if you've tried these palettes and what do you think. If you got Subculture, did you return it? Did you think it was bad? I would love to know, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!